حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. Continue inshallah ta'ala with the tafsir of Surah Al-Baqarah, and we reached ayah number 87. Ayah number 87 from Surah Al-Baqarah, and still the verses is talking about Bani Israel and what they did with the prophets before, the Prophet ﷺ, and what they continue to do, and calling them to follow the Prophet ﷺ, to follow the truth, the way of all the messengers of Allah, and for this ummah to learn from the nations before, because the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is repeated. They say that history repeats itself. We say the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never changes. وَلَنْ تَجِدَ لِسُنَّةِ اللَّهِ تَبْدِيلًا وَلَنْ تَجِدَ لِسُنَّةِ اللَّهِ تَحْوِيلًا. You will never find to the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a change. You will never find to the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alteration. It's the same way. And the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether it's physical ways, like breathing the air, eating the food, things like this, or religious ways, or the things that got to be known by the wahy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when it talks about the rise and fall of nations, the individuals, and how a person to be happy, superior in this life and hereafter. These are the ways of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that never changes whatsoever. People are different names, different environments, but it's the same thing over and over again, especially with the struggle between the truth and falsehood. And that's why for people, either they get to see it physically, or what is better for them definitely is to see it in the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when they see it in the book of Allah from the nations before and so on, then they will exactly know what to do and what their job is, and not to give up or to be away from patience and so on. So the ayah, I will take one ayah at a time, inshallah ta'ala. Ayah 87, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابَ وَقَفَّيْنَا مِن بَعْدِهِ بِالرُّسُلِ وآتينا عيسى بن مريم البينات وأيدناه بروح القدس أفكلما جاءكم رسول بما لا تهوى أنفسكم استكبرتم ففريقا كذبتم وفريقا تقتلون. Which roughly translate, and indeed we gave Musa the book and followed him up with a succession of messengers. And we gave Isa, the son of Mary, clear signs and supported him with Ruh al-Qudus, Jibreel alayhi salam. Is it that whenever there came to you a messenger with what you yourselves desired not, you grew arrogant, some you disbelieved and some you killed? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding Bani Israel by His favors subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the most important and the most valuable favor is when a messenger is being sent. When people get to know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from them. Why? Because that brings to them, if they're obedient to the messenger, the goodness of this life and hereafter. وَلَقَدْ أَتَيْنَا. And the lam and qad, when it's mentioned, laqad, this is a very definite statement that has no doubt whatsoever. To stress the statement, because maybe somebody might think it's not as strong as it's supposed to be, or maybe a person might deny it. So lam al-qasam and qad, to feed the tahqiq, as they say, is like definitely no doubt for sure, right? A person is as if he's swearing, right, by saying walaqad, no doubt. Atayna Musa al-kitab. Atayna means that we gave Musa alayhi salam al-kitab. Atayna. Who is the one that gave Musa alayhi salam al-kitab? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Through Jibreel alayhi salam, because he's the angel that is responsible for the wahy. And it shows how, again, the favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Musa alayhi salam was given the book from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَقَدْ أَتَيْنَا. And the word atayna, we gave the book to Musa alayhi salam. And it's different than Musa was given the book, right? We gave the book to Musa alayhi salam for people to remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that bestows his favor on whomsoever he wills, and choose the messengers, and for the people to follow the messengers. أتينا Musa alayhi salam, one of Ulil Azm min al-Rusul, one of the 5 best messengers of Allah, Nuh alayhi salam, and Ibrahim, and Musa, and Isa, and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And the best of all the messengers of Allah, of course, is the final messenger, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And all the prophets of Allah, again, as the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, إخوة لعلات. They are brothers, but they don't have the same mother, right? So they are brothers because matters of faith, that's what gives that unity from one messenger to the other. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَقَدْ أَتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابِ. Al-Kitab here, the book, meaning the Torah that was given to Musa alayhi salam. So we're going through matters of belief here, right? So believing in the messengers of Allah, one of the pillars of Al-Iman, believing in the books that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to the messengers, like Al-Tawrah to Musa alayhi salam, and Isa alayhi salam was given the Al-Injil. وَقَفَّيْنَا مِن بَعْدِهِ بِالرُّسُلِ. قَفَّيْنَا, the word qafa is the back of one's head, right? So وَقَفَّيْنَا مِن بَعْدِهِ بِالرُّسُلِ, that we sent min ba'dihi, after him, al-rusul, messengers, successions, like one after the other, right? When a person, his back is back to back, right? Messenger after a messenger. So that there's no excuse whatsoever. So that nobody will have any excuse after the evidence has been established. لِأَلَّا يَكُونَ لِلنَّاسِ حُجَّةٌ بَعْدَ الرُّسُلِ. So that people don't have any excuse after the messengers have been sent. And that's why if the messenger has not been sent, then the people have an excuse. And this is one of the 4 types of people where the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith in Sunan al-Majah and others, أَرْبَعَ يُدْلُونَ بِحُجَّةٍ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. 4 types of people, they would come with hujjah, with an evidence, with an excuse in the Day of Judgment, one of which, a man, the message didn't reach him. So he did not have a messenger, so the message didn't reach him. He will come with a valid excuse, and he will be tested in the Day of Judgment, and the one that is deaf, and the one that was old age when the message came, and the 4th one is the one that was insane. So they will be tested in the Day of Judgment, a messenger will be sent to them. And we talked about that before. So, قَفَّيْنَا مِن بَعْدِهِ بِالرُّسُلِ, it shows how many messengers, many messengers have been sent to them, to Bani Israel. And these messengers, they not necessarily were sent with new laws and legislation and halal and haram, but most of them, they would affirm or confirm the message of the previous message. Like after Musa alayhi salam, there were messengers after Musa alayhi salam. Before Isa alayhi salam, like Yusha, Nun, for example, he was after Musa alayhi salam and others. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would send to Bani Israel more than one messenger at the same time. Right? Not one after another, more at the same time they will be sent. Sent to the people to remind them and to call them to follow the way of Musa alayhi salam. So they did not come necessarily with a new way, but they would come with the same rules that Musa alayhi salam was sent with. Of course, all the messengers, they were sent with the Tawheed. La ilaha illallah. But لِكُلٍّ جَعَلْنَا مِنْكُمْ شِرْعَةً وَمِنْهَاجًا. For every messenger, for every nation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to them sharia, the way, halal and haram and so on, different from one to the other, by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, depending on the time and the environment and so on, and what fits them. And then once the Prophet ﷺ was sent, and that's one of the miraculous things in the deen of Islam, that its rulings fits everyone, all nations, all race, all times, till the Day of Judgment. And this is something that stands that challenge, because it fits everyone, because it's the final message. وَقَفَّيْنَا مِن بَعْدِهِ بِالرُّسُلِ, shows how many messengers, a lot of messengers. وَأَتَيْنَا عِيسَى بِنَ مَرْيَمَ الْبَيِّنَاتِ. وَأَتَيْنَا, also the same word, أَتَيْنَا, that we gave. Ata is to give. Atayna, we gave. Isa ibn Maryam. Isa, the son of Mary. And he is referred to be Isa ibn Maryam because Isa alayhi salam did not have a father. Right? And as Adam alayhi salam was created without a father and a mother, the miraculous birth of Isa alayhi salam, that he was given birth without a father. Isa ibn Maryam. And of course his mother is is the best woman Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created, and he perfected her. And the story of that is in Al-Imran and Surah Maryam and so on. Isa bin Maryam. Sometimes a person might be referred to by his mother. If a person has nobody knows his father, right? That means he has to take the name of his mother, or born out of wedlock, right? So he takes the name of his mother, and he has no fault on him, no fault, no sin on him, because he was not responsible for this. And in that case, as some of the ulama, when they talk about, since Isa bin Maryam is mentioned, there are certain rulings with such a person. Like, for example, matters of inheritance, right? If he is not known any father for him, he did not have a father, in a sense, in marriage, because fatherhood has to be with marriage. It doesn't occur by anything else. And so in the deen of Islam, and this is the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's not by a biological father, as they say, by DNAs and all of that. This has no value whatsoever in the deen of Islam, unless it's performed through legal marriage. If it's not legal marriage, then even if the DNA and all of that, then it's his father, meaning that he is the one that was the reason for that child to be born. He has no relationship with that child. He is not the father. So the mother is the mother, right? But the father is never a father unless it's marriage. People might say, but it's his father, he should take care of him and so on. No, he is not his father. And it's from the dhulm, from injustice, to call him the father of that child, right? And that's why when you find the rules, to some people it's very strict, the relationship between men and women, and why women wear hijab and so on, right? Because once they have a child, who's the one that would bear that shame for the rest of their life? Is the woman, not the man. Right? The man goes away. Nobody knows anything about him. And who's the one that would carry the child in her womb and take care of him when he has no father whatsoever? Right? So the deen of Islam protected the women from the evilness of themselves and also of men. So, but if this is the case, if, for example, that child dies, the one that would inherit from him in this case, never his father, that biological, because he's not a father anyway, but he has nothing to do with him. It's the mother, and her relative becomes the asaba of this child, although there's differences of opinions in this, because the asaba is the male relatives that would stand up for the person to help him and to protect him, and they would pay the blood money if there is needed and so on. But this is usually from the father's side, fathers and the cousins from the father's side, and the uncles and so on, and the brothers. But if a person doesn't have a father, right, then there's differences of opinion whether he has asaba or not. But the correct opinion, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best, that yes, and that is through like, for example, if the mother has a brother, right, then he will inherit from him, so he becomes his asaba. وَأَتَيْنَا عِيسَى بِنَ مَرْيَمَ الْبَيِّنَاتِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Isa alayhi salam al-Bayyinat, the clear. Al-Bayyinat is the things that are so clear, which is, of course, the book from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is Al-Injil, and also the miracles that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Isa alayhi salam, in which he would give life to those who died by the permission of Allah, make the shape of a bird by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and blow in it, and it become alive. These great miracles, of course, by the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he was the last messenger to Bani Israel. And he changed things after many, many messengers. Like Musa alayhi salam came, major messenger, and then many messengers came after Musa alayhi salam without any change. So Isa alayhi salam came to Bani Israel, still only to Bani Israel, sent only to Bani Israel, with change in their religion by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the miracles have to be heavy miracles for such people that they would see the mountain on top of their heads and they don't submit to this. They would see the sea split in front of their eyes, and Musa alayhi salam is saved from Fir'aun, and then right after they go to the other side, they say to Musa alayhi salam, Ij'al lana ilaha kama lahum aliha. When they saw people worshipping the tree, they said, make for us gods as they have gods to worship. And they worship the calf after, the story was mentioned in Surah Taha. So they see miracles with their own eyes, right? And they were with the believers and they still deny and renegade and so on and rebel. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala aided Isa alayhi salam with these amazing miracles by the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to such people, and they still did what they did and refused and renegated. وَأَيَّدْنَاهُ بِرُوحِ الْقُدُسِ. So أَتَيْنَا is one thing, gave him the book, the bayinat, وَأَيَّدْنَاهُ, and we aided him. Ta'eed is to aid someone, to support someone. بِرُوحِ الْقُدُسِ. Ruh is spirit, and Qudus is sacred or free from all deficiency. Ruh al-Qudus, right, it was said, more than one saying in this, but the more common one and the more famous one is meaning Jibreel alayhi salam. And there's evidences in that in some of the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu. For example, the hadith إن روح القدس نفث في روعي أنه لن تموت نفس حتى تستوفي رزقها. The Prophet sallallahu said, Ruh al-Qudus نفث في روعي. He put in myself, blew in myself, that no soul, nobody shall die unless he will be given his rizq in full. فاتقوا الله وأجملوا في الطلب. That means fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and don't panic when you seek the provisions from Allah, because the rizq has been written. So the point is, Ruh al-Qudus was mentioned, right? That the Prophet ﷺ said that, which is Jibreel alayhi salam. Also the Prophet ﷺ, when Hassan ibn Thabit radiallahu anhu, the poet, and he was a famous poet before Islam and after Islam, when the Prophet ﷺ made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for him, to give him the ta'eed, Allahumma ayyidhu bi Ruh al-Qudus, or Allah give him the support by Ruh al-Qudus, by Jibreel, because he would defend the deen of Islam and the Prophet ﷺ with his poetry, right, with his words. So Ruh al-Qudus is Jibreel alayhi salam. So this is the favor from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the clear miracles to them. أَفَكُلَّمَا جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ. This is where the condemnation, right? أَفَكُلَّمَا. Is it every time? Kullama meaning every time something happens. أَفَكُلَّمَا, the question comes, is it every time? جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ. جَاءَكُمْ came to you, a messenger. A messenger. بِمَا لَا تَهْوَى أَنفُسُكُمْ. Where your nafs, your أنفسكم do not desire. تهوى, desire. So is it every time that a messenger come with things that does not, fit your desire, or your nafs, yourself do not desire it? Istakbartum, right? You committed the kibr, you became arrogant. Arrogant meaning that they refuse the truth. فَفَرِيقًا كَذَّبْتُمْ وَفَرِيقًا تَقْتُلُونَ. So a group of these messengers, فَرِيقًا, group of them, كَذَّبْتُمْ, you deny, and وَفَرِيقًا تَقْتُلُونَ, another group, you would kill them. Such huge crime to the best of all human beings, the messengers of Allah. So this last part of the verse, أَفَكُلَّمَا جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ. The job of the messenger is to be followed. And every time a messenger comes to them, بِمَا لَا تَهْوَى أَنفُسُكُمْ, that means they would sometimes follow, as long as it fits their desire. The messenger comes with things that would not undermine their authorities or their wealth or whatever their desire is. They would say, yes, sure, as it's mentioned in the verse before. Do you believe in some of the book and you disbelieve in other parts of the book? So al-hawa, or the desire, always contradicts with the wahy. And that's why people have to be tested like this, either to follow their desires or to follow the wahy. And the wahy, the revelation from Allah, does not oppose the desire, but it regulates it to make it do the things in the right way. So when they oppose the messengers of Allah because of their desire, this is because of the kibr. Istakbartum. You became arrogant, right? Istakbartum, that you did something to bring that kibr, which is one of the fatal diseases of the hearts if a person has it, that makes the person turn upside down, never see the truth. And that's why when they saw the miracles and they would continue to disbelief, you would say, how can a person do this? Right? The hearts are sealed. And when the hearts are sealed, this is the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A person knows that if he take that one step, he will go to the hellfire. And he will be in the hellfire forever. And he knows that for sure, for certainty. And he still do it. How amazing that is. Why? Because the hearts, when it's sealed, the person is not able to see what is right and what is wrong. And people even do that in matters of this dunya. And they continue to do it. So the disease of the heart, which is al-kibr, is something that can lead the person astray to the to the effect of which that it can make him even take him outside the fold of Islam, step by step. There's the famous story, of course there's many hadith and verses in the Quran, we mentioned some of them before, but there's also a story of one of the last king of Al-Ghasasina. His name is Jabal ibn al-Ayy, right? He was the last king of Ghassan. And he was very rich and very powerful and so on. And at the time of Umar radiallahu anhu, he came to embrace Islam, and, it was said, and as Ibn Kathir rahimahullah mentioned that in his book Al-Bidayah wal-Nihayah, that he came with 500 people with him, right? His servants and looks like a king and everything. But he came with his jahiliyyah, right? With his ignorance of kibr in him, that he's a king. He wants to continue to be and to be treated like a king. And the Muslims, they were very happy by the king coming to embrace Islam and so on. And then he went to make Umrah in Mecca, and while he was making Tawaf, one of the poor people of Khazara, one of the tribes, he stepped on his cloth or clothing from the back, right? Unintentional, while making Tawaf. So Jabal ibn al-Ayy turned around and he slapped him on his face, that he broke his nose as a result of this. And he cursed him. How can he step on the king's, part of the izar? So this simple man, he took him as to dispute with him in front of Umar radiallahu anhu, right? So Umar radiallahu anhu told him, did you step? Did he step and did you hit him? Did you hit him on his face? He said, yes. So he said, since you said it, he acknowledged it. So either you please him or he has to revenge. He has to take his right by slapping you on your face and break your nose. So the man said, and I'm the king of the Ghasasina. One of the masses will do this and I'm the king. So Umar radiallahu anhu told them, Islam sawwa baynaka wa bayna. Islam made you equal, you and him equal, right? You forget about people being happy. Imagine when something like that happens nowadays, and the king is coming, right? And even someone that has good intentions, he would think if we just get the matter, resolve it somehow, so that this king behind him, there are hundreds of people, for the benefit of the da'wah, right? The person to be Muslim and to give him strength in the deen of Islam, so that the people with him that become Muslims. Umar radiallahu anhu made it with justice. There is no compromisation in this. He said Islam made you equal with him. So either you please him or he has to hit you like that. So the man said, I'm the king. Umar radiallahu anhu told him, Da' ank. Put that aside. Stop that. What you're saying, put it aside. This has no value to it. When the word that he's saying. People say that sometimes, put this aside, this is not going to be of any value. So the man, he said, then I will be a Christian. He said, if you be a Christian, I'll chop your head off. So the man said, okay, give me time. Give me time, to think about the matter, what do I do? At night time, he fled, and he went to Sham, Syria, he went to the Romans, and he became a Christian. And it was said that he has a famous lines of poetry that he regretted it later, right? And he made lines of poetry, Tanassaltu, I became a Christian and so on, and he would have been just patient with that incident. And actually, he died as a Christian. He died as a renegade, and he regretted it at the end of his life. But he was given so much they gave him so much of wealth and so on. But the point is, arrogance, made him leave the whole deen of Islam. And it's not like he was convinced otherwise. No, but he could not stay to be humble and to treat it as equally as everyone else. So that's why istikbar, or to be arrogant, such a fatal disease in one's deen. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that about Bani Israel, that the reason why they turned away from the ways of the messenger is that kibr. And that's why also the hadith that we heard before, that whoever has the weight of a mustard seed of kibr in his heart, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make him kabbahu Allah ala wajhi fi nar. Allah will make him fall on his face into nar jahannam, into the hellfire. So having arrogance over others. And this is one of the things that shows a person is not having the proper intelligence. If someone has arrogance, especially when it comes to people to one another. when they think that they're superior because of their lineage, or because of their race, or because of their color, or because he's from this tribe or this place. This is something that is so degrading to the human being. What did you do to be from this race or from this tribe? Is it part of your actions? If a person maybe worked hard for something, it's still haram to be arrogant, but you might think maybe he has an excuse. But someone that has nothing to do whatsoever with what he is, and he acts arrogantly, right? You can see how evil that is. And as the Prophet ﷺ defined al-kibr, what is it? He said, alayhi salatu wasalam, بَطَرُ الْحَقِّ وَغَمْتُ النَّاسِ, which means to reject the truth and to look down at people. So you have the truth and dealing with others. The rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the rights of the human beings. Kibr is involved in all of this. When it comes to the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a person rejects the truth because it contradicts with his desire. Rejecting it, immediately this is a sign of kibr. And looking down at people, not giving them their rights, and treating them in a bad way just for the fact that they are different and so on. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَفَكُلَّمَا جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ بِمَا لَا تَهْوَى أَنفُسُكُمْ اسْتَكْبَرْتُمْ فَفَرِيقًا كَذَّبْتُمْ وَفَرِيقًا تَقْتُلُونَ. A group of messengers, you denied them because of this kibr, when you know that they are messengers of Allah. وَفَرِيقًا تَقْتُلُونَ. كَذَّبْتُمْ is in the past tense. Group of them, you denied them, right? And فَرِيقًا تَقْتُلُونَ did not say وَفَرِيقًا قَتَلْتُمْ, and فَرِيقًا that you killed. No, and فَرِيقًا, which is a group of them, you are killing them, right? You continue to kill them, right? The ulama, they say because of two meanings. That it's still present, as if this is still happening. Because of what the Prophet ﷺ said, نَزَالَتْ أَكْلَةُ خَيْبَرْ تُعَوِدُنِي. When the Prophet ﷺ took the meal from the people of Khaybar, when they invited him for food, and they put the poison in there for the Prophet ﷺ. And the Prophet ﷺ said, that meal keep on coming back on me, right? That was the reason behind the death of the Prophet ﷺ. But they didn't kill the Prophet, did not kill the Prophet ﷺ like an immediate killing or anything, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاللَّهُ يَعْصِمُكَ مِنَ النَّاسِ, that Allah will protect you from people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected the Prophet ﷺ, but protected him till he finished the message, till he conveyed the message totally, perfectly. And then the Prophet ﷺ died. And he said, alayhi salatu wasalam, it's from the effect of that meal. So they even, because of their evil action, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punished them by having some responsibility when it comes to the death of the best man ever walked on the face of the earth, right? The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. And also it means that, we mentioned that also this benefit before, that when you have early generations that belongs to you, and you're proud of what they did, you take the same evil actions that they did. So as we said, when they say, for example, that they killed Isa alayhi salam, when they didn't kill him, they did not crucify him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lifted him, as we know. They would come in the day of judgment with the crime and the sin and the punishment of killing Isa alayhi salam, when they didn't even kill him. Because this is something that they claim they did, and they're proud of it, and they continue to be proud of it. So the later generations will take the same sin because of this evil intention. So that's why a person should make sure who is his early generations, or who is he following, right? So when a person is following a group or someone, a deviant or whatever, a person has to be careful. But that's why when we say it's mandatory for every Muslim, when we follow the Prophet ﷺ and the best generation ever brought to mankind, the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, and the early generations of Islam. And for them to follow those who killed the prophets and messengers and so on, they bear the same sin as a result of their actions. And the same thing when a person would confirm any crimes or whatever there is, he has a shame of this. Right? If he approves what people do of evil, this is one of the means of acquiring sins in oneself. And the same thing with the intentions of doing something good, a person gets a great reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the sincere intention. Lastly, briefly, we just talk about some of the things that Imam Sa'di rahimahullah he said. which he said امتن تعالى على بني إسرائيل أن أرسل لهم كليمه موسى وآتاه التوراة. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala restored his favor upon Bani Israel when he sent kalimahu from kalam, right? The one that he spoke to, which is Musa alayhi salam. It's called Al-Kalim because he was given this honor that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke to him in his life. وآتاه التوراة, and he gave him the Torah. ثم تابع بعده بالرسل الذين يحكمون للتوراة. Then he had after him messengers يحكمون للتوراة, ruled by the Torah. And this is also from the honor of Musa alayhi salam, that they would continue to rule by the Torah. إلى أن ختم أنبياءهم بعيسى عليه السلام, till the seal of the messengers of Bani Israel, because then the prophethood was changed and given to the leniency of Ismail from Ibrahim alayhi salam. So Isa alayhi salam was the last of Bani Israel's messengers. وآتاه من الآيات البينات, and he gave him from the clear ayat ما يؤمن على مثله البشر, what people should believe as a result of these ayat. وأيدناه بروح القدس, that we supported him by روح القدس, أي قواه الله بروح القدس, that Allah gave him strength by روح القدس. And he says قال أكثر المفسرين, that most of those who made tafsir, they said إنه جبريل عليه السلام. And some said وقيل إنه الإيمان الذي يؤيد الله به عباده. Some said that روح القدس means al-iman, faith that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala support his slaves with al-iman. ثم مع هذه النعم التي لا يقدر قدرها أو لا يقدر قدرها, that with all of these favors that nobody can comprehend how or estimate how much it is, because it's something that is unimaginable. بما لا تهوى أنفسكم استكبرتم, that when the messengers were sent to them and all these favors and so on was given to them, but when they come with something that is opposes their desire, they become arrogant. عن الإيمان بهم, they become arrogant to believe in them. ففريقا, meaning from among them, كذبتم وفريقا تقتلون. He says فقدمتم الهوى على الهدى. You put forward الهوى على الهدى. You see they're very close, right? Is it the word anonyms? Huh? No, but in English, not synonyms, but anonyms? Antonyms. Al-Huda wal-Hawa, right? Only the waw and the dal is different. One is al-Hawa is the desire, al-Huda is guidance. Right? So either follow your guidance, or follow the guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or follow your desire. And there is no third. And this is also what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَإِذَا مَسْتَجِيبُ لَكَ فَعْلَمْ أَنَّمَا يَتَّبِعُونَ أَهْوَاءَهُم. If they do not respond to you, O Messenger of Allah, follow you, then know that they are following their desires. وَآثَرْتُمُ الدُّنْيَا عَلَى الْآخِرَةِ. And you made ithar, you chose the dunya, and you didn't want the akhirah, the hereafter. وَفِيهَا مِنَ التَّوْبِيخِ وَالتَّجْدِيدِ مَا لَا يَخْفَى. And in this, you can see the condemnation and stressing the condemnation, how severe that is when it's very clear. فَفَرِيقًا كَذَّبْتُمْ وَفَرِيقًا تَقْتُلُونَ. How Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala condemned their acts. So we see again the benefits. So it's the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that is repeated. If someone chooses desire, that means he is having arrogance, a disease in the heart that should not be belittled. This can lead the person to what is worse, lead them to even leaving the truth altogether as a result of following the truth and not to witness the favor from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that the messenger has been sent and the book was given. This is a great favor from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that a person should enjoy the deen of Islam and enjoy the wahi from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and not to look at it as a burden. I have to do this and I have to do that, because again, we have desires. And the desires have to be regulated. And human beings don't like that to start with. But when they know that this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the owner of all things, they humble themselves and they will see the rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We'll stop inshallah at this point and we'll continue next time. وصلى الله وسلم على محمد.